All right, guys, another drive and talk here. I wanted to share, because I was thinking about it while I was driving, what would be some places where I'd love to see Ford use their 7.3 liter gas engine other than what they're already using it in. So right now, as you may know, it is an engine in the Super Duty. It is an engine in the E-Series cutaway van or the chassis cab vans for use in, box trucks, ambulances, commercial related applications, all that stuff. And it is used in commercial trucks for Ford, so the 450, the 550, and the 350 commercial, of course.
In half a mile, turn left onto the I-75 South ramp to Saginaw.
Yeah, I know. So, did you guys hear that? I'm actually kind of curious. Did anybody hear that, the GPS telling me to go through it? I don't know if that, comes through in a video. I am heading to the Shiawassee wetland or whatever it is.
Turn left onto the I-75 South ramp.
All right. Did you hear that again? Anyway, so it comes in heavy-duty trucks. It is a heavy-duty truck engine. Why is that such a good thing? Well, it's tough. It's tough, and it doesn't weigh.
Continue on I-75 South for 47 miles.
Yeah. GPS is still squawking at me. The engine weighs about 536 pounds, according to Ford's information. And in comparison, the 5-liter Coyote weighs about 450 pounds, and the 3.8 EcoBoost weighs, I think it's 443 or 445 pounds, something like that. So the 5.0 and the 3.5 are very similar weight engines, which is interesting. And I'm going to put a picture in here right now of other weights of related Ford EcoBoost products. I think it would be super cool, given the measurements, if you can fit the 2.7 V6 weight-wise, which the 2.7 V6, the 3.0, and the 3.5 all weigh about the same weight, which is kind of interesting that they didn't just use the bigger engines instead of even developing the 2.7 in the first place. So I am a little curious about why they did that. But I think that the 7.3 in a Bronco in the the off-road wild track versions with bigger tires, I think that would be really cool. I'm going to tell you guys why. The 7.3 gets phenomenal fuel economy. I'm not making this up, okay? I've been doing, 60 basically this entire trip, and I just sped up to 4 in a 75 zone. So, and I may even slow down because I have my hunting boat in the back of the truck, and I probably am going a little faster than I need to. So what I'm going to do, actually, just for reasons of being smart, is I'm going to kick her down a notch, and because I'm cheap, I like saving fuel. So I think that the fuel economy in such a heavy truck is nothing short of unbelievable. If you were to put this engine in a vehicle such as a Bronco Wildtrak, Sasquatch, whatever the heck you want to call it, or a Bronco Raptor R, I want you to think about something for a second. You would have 430 horsepower, and I'm sure that they could weasel more out if they're requiring premium fuel and whatever for Raptors and all that. Why wouldn't they give us a premium tune on a 7.3 and maybe make 450, 460 probably pretty safely on a no-holds-bar premium tune? I could totally see that being the case with a lot more torque. 510, 520 probably with just a tune, I would imagine, is on the table there. And that's assuming they didn't put a camshaft swap. Ford hasn't ventured at all into a production performance version of the 7.3, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here, is why don't we take this incredibly interesting block and head architecture design and make it a performance model. And the vehicles that I'd love to see it in are as follows. The Bronco, because it'd be sick and it'd be really good at turning big tires. You wouldn't lose as much fuel economy, and it would be really good at turning those big tires. And if you're going faster, I don't think that the fuel economy is going to be that much different than, say, a 2.7 EcoBoost. And I really can't imagine the 2.3 EcoBoost is very peppy with 37-inch tires on it, or even 35s. I really can't imagine that to be the case. So I think a 7.3 in there, given how small The 7.3 is not a very big engine. It is slightly longer than a 5.0 lengthwise. It's skinnier than a 5.0 widthwise. And it's slightly, I'm trying to think, I think it's just slightly taller than a 5-liter. I cannot imagine they're going to have a difficult time stuffing that in to a Bronco. And I think that would be really cool. And I think it'd be way cooler. So someone's going to comment, why not just use a 5-liter? It's a small engine. And I want bigger. Because of the benefits of being bigger is torque. And torque is what produces great efficiency. There's a deer right there. Please don't run into my truck. I love my truck. I don't want it to die that way. So, anyway, Bronco would be super duper sick. Now, another vehicle that would be super duper awesome in is the F-150 and in the Expedition. Now, I'm not an F-150 owner. Many of my friends have F-150s. I have an Expedition. So maybe I'll speak more. They're the same platform, similar platform. Obviously, rear suspension is not the same, but very similar in a lot of other ways. If you can fit a 5.0 and an F-150, you should be able to fit a 7.3, both in height and length and width, all the good stuff. Weight-wise, you're talking less than 100 pounds heavier than a 5-liter and way less than 100 pounds still for a 3.5 EcoBoost, and those are both the engines in the F-150, and the Expedition only comes with 3.5 EcoBoost. Not that I have anything against 3.5 EcoBoost. It is a really good engine. It is super duper strong. It's very, very reliable. Basically, your one way to pop the damn thing is those stupid variable cam timing phasers, which is so unfortunate. It's been a long-term problem with phasers for a really long time. They're getting dirty from dirty oil because of long oil change intervals that people insist on doing with these boutique oil brands that claim you can go ridiculous miles on their fuel or their oil. It's just crazy. You have lots of very small actuators that are getting glomped up with carbon and other elements that are not good. Carbon being soot from the engine. And it is not a good thing for long-term durability. Anyway, when I tow the exact same trailer with my Expedition, I have the max tow package, 373 gears, so the same gear ratio that this truck has, 373. I get with the exact same trailer, slightly worse fuel economy in the Expedition. So my 1-ton truck on 34-inch big tires, straight axles, really heavy in comparison, 1,000, 1,500 pounds heavier than the Expedition is, at least. And I'm getting better fuel economy towing the same trailer in this truck than in the Expedition. And that more or less is a global situation, unless the trailer is really, really small. Like my little teeny yard, my 12x6 yard trailer, that makes so little difference on aerodynamics as long as there's not something big in it. That's not killing fuel economy that bad. So maybe that would make a difference. Empty, the Expedition routinely gets, in real world full tank averages, this truck routinely gets 15 to 16 if it's empty, and if I'm keeping it 65 and under for the whole fuel tank. High 15s into 16 on a tank average, hand calculated, and you're within a couple tenths of what the thing says. If you hand calculate it right now, it'd probably come out to like 18. It's usually between 1 and 3 tenths off, and it overestimates, just so you guys know, at least on my truck. So as this turns into a 500-mile tank or a 450-mile tank, obviously things like accelerating are going to make your fuel economy drop. And if you do something irresponsible like floor it, each one of those things add up to dropping your fuel economy. This truck gets between 3 and 4 miles a gallon less for the exact same driving empty as what the Expedition with 3.5 gets, and that has 373 gears. Before somebody says, well, what about an Expedition? I've talked to people who have less gearing, they don't have the max tow package, and they're getting worse or similar fuel economy to what my Expedition gets, 373 gears. I do not think you're better off with less gears. The truck is triple overdrive. There's no reason not to have more gearing, and I think it really helps at 55 or so miles an hour, keeping the RPM at a very efficient point in the engine's operation band, if you want. So, Expedition with 7.3, I think would be ridiculous. You could probably increase the towing capacity significantly by having that as an option. It would be really cool in like an off-road model. Anytime you can have more torque, turning tires off-road is a win-win. I think a lot of enthusiasts would like it because it sounds really good. The 7.3 sounds really, 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 really nice. So I think that the F-150 or the Expedition using a 7.3 would be a huge home run. You guys are already producing a ton of 7.3 engines for Super Duty. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to put it in there. And you could make a model. You could have a Lightning pickup truck and a Lightning Expedition and have like a muscle truck with a 7.3 liter gas engine in those vehicles. It would be hilarious, it would be fast, and it wouldn't be stupid because you would have, I don't think, a downside in terms of fuel economy, not enough to where people are going to care that much. So I would definitely like that. Now, moving on a little bit, I would say the Mustang with 7.3 liter would be super duper cool. 7.3s are being put right now with different oil pans in all kinds of different muscle cars, and like Crown Vics and older trucks, and there's options to do things. The OEM, if they really wanted to do it, they could make a smaller oil pan or a more road race style oil pan where it goes wide instead of deep. I would absolutely say that that should be a thing, and you could totally make like a Street Fighter styled Mustang, whereas like this is not a track car, this is a street car. You have the biggest engine on the streets and blah 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 blah. You could have a boosted option, you have a factory whipple blower. Oh man, it'd be so cool. Or like a dealer installed Ford Racing approved whipple blower. Oh man, it'd be so cool. And the reason why it'd be cool is you would probably get ridiculous fuel economy, which is, you hear me, I like getting good fuel economy. Why wouldn't I want to spend less to do the same thing? It would be really cool to have a really high fuel economy vehicle, and this amount of torque and fun to drive personality that is the 7.3 would be so much fun in a 4,000 pound. And I love how I have to say that when Mustangs used to be so light. My track pack weighed 3620 with me in it. 2014 track pack 5 liter, and now the things are basically tipping 4,000 pounds with a naturally aspirated 5.0 Coyote. It's kind of sad. It's kind of heavy, but I ordered a track pack totally stripped out, and I could totally see a stripped out, like a Bullet Mustang with a 7.3 with a manual trans would be so sick. But you could call it like a Street Fighter Mustang or something really cool like that. And I could totally see that selling like hotcakes. I think everyone would like to have both an automatic for people who want to just put it in gear and go. It would sound good, and especially if you had 2-mode exhaust with a 7.3 in the Mustang. And honestly, I think with all of these having 2-mode exhaust, because it's such a nice raspy sounding engine, to have a quiet mode and a loud mode would be very, very cool for the consumer. So that would definitely be something that I would want to see Ford do. Another one is either bringing back the Panther platform or making a new Black Panther platform. I don't know. Something Pantherish. A 4-door sedan with heavy-duty hardware, able to put up with some abuse. I think it would be such a cool car and comfortable. You could have a big old bench seat in the back and either a bench seat or buckets in the front for people who want to have a 5-seater. And you can have a 4-seat option if you really wanted to, with a console in the back. And oh man, it'll be a cool car. Put a good radio in it, nice looking wheels and tires, big brake kit from a Mustang. You would probably want to use the Mustang front and rear suspension, and then just have a new platform that would bolt in, which is commonly done in the automotive industry. Like the Pontiac G8, that was a Camaro Zeta architecture, not a big deal. The Cadillac CTS Gen 1 was an Alpha platform that was like the GTO. So yeah, and that was an Australian platform. It's not unusual to have a bolt-in. I should probably check my navigation. Anyway. Oh yeah, Saginaw, good. We got a ways to go. Stanlish, yeah, we're still far off. Anyway, moving on. So Mustang, and then a 4-door sedan with a big engine, a lot of power, a raspy sound would be ridiculously super duper cool. Now the last one that I'm going to talk about, I think they should come out with a Bronco HD. Hear me out. Take the wheelbase of a regular cab, short bed Super Duty, and make the Bronco body on top, and have an HD version of a Bronco, straight axled, with a nice fuel tank, like a 34-gallon fuel tank if you can squeeze that in there, 28 if you can't fit 34, a nice fuel tank so that we can get around. Oopsie. cheapy. And have a Bronco HD factory straight axle, disconnecting sway bar if you can, factory lockers, a real deal heavy duty suspension truck with a nice frame on it so it'll put up with some nonsense, and especially if you can make Super Duty parts bolt in so that Carly and Carly specifically could jump right on board with suspension systems. That would be so wicked cool with how popular overlanding is right now. I think that would be a really cool platform. And hear me out, just for the most important, and of course with that Bronco HD having 7.3, and I think the most important one, we're going to finish this off, is bring back the Expedition or the Excursion, put it on a Super Duty chassis, of course, 8 lug solid axles with a 7.3 liter as an option, with a Power Stroke as the other option, and have yourself, or have all of us enthusiasts so happy. And make sure you guys make a base model that is an off-road trim, and I'm talking for the Bronco HD and the Excursion. Give us a base model that doesn't have a wicked amount of crap, has a basic dashboard, basic seats, basic everything. Keep it basic, so we're not paying an arm and a leg. We're not paying $100,000 for something to make us happy. Keep it around the 60-65 mark where people can afford to pick that up, on the basic trim end. And of course people are going to want to have their stupid leather, the fake leather and all that stuff, so give that to them. But let's have the off-road models have the basic version that the average guy who's working a 9 to 5 can go and get, and have a sick truck. And in the same way, let's bring back a Bullet Mustang package with 7.3 and keep that thing basic, not super expensive, where anyone can go out and buy a cool, fast, loud, awesome vehicle. And in the same way, let's make sure that we keep those basic models for the F-150 and the Expedition with 7.3, because at the end of the day, I think somebody wanting something burly like this doesn't need to have so much extra gussied up nonsense. I think what we want to have is a good drive line, a reliable vehicle with power that has a great sound to it, and is just built well in the places it needs to be built well, and not overbuilt in places that it doesn't. Because at the end of the day, if we're getting in here after going hunting or off-roading or whatever, I don't think we care about the limited seats and the massaging nonsense and whatever. I think we just want to get into a warm vehicle that has a properly functioning climate control, that doesn't have the AC system not work, like whatever happened with your air conditioning pumps. I don't know what the heck that was all about. But a big heater, a big AC system where when you're out having fun with your friends, you have both extremes covered. I think it'd be so cool. So yeah, that's my recommendation directly to you for it. I'm looking at you and I'm calling you out and I'm saying this is an awesome engine. I think we need to put this thing in more places because it gets great fuel economy. We're still, all this time we've been talking, another 10 miles or something like that. Has it been 10 miles? Is that how long we've been talking? Or maybe it's 20 miles. Did it start at 40 or it started at 50? I can't remember. Gets great fuel economy. It gets, it's just such a drivable engine. It's easy to deal with. It sounds really good. It's just a trusty engine. And when it's nighttime and you don't want to be on the side of the road broken down, this thing has just such a nice hum that you know that it's there working for you. And I think it'd be something this powerful. It'd be so much fun in a car, and it'd be so much fun in a Panther-like vehicle. Bring back the Marauder. That would be really cool in the Panther platform, or in a modern Panther platform, Panther 2.0. There's such a classic, the original Panther. If you did a Panther 2.0 with this engine, and if you had like an EcoBoost option, like a 3.5 EcoBoost and the 7.3 as your two options. So if someone wanted to have the factory twin turbo setup, or if they wanted to have the big burly naturally aspirated V8, then people could argue about it. I think you'd get a lot of good press. So anyway, talking to you directly, Ford, if I was in your marketing department, this is what I'd be telling you. And I hope that you have a marketing department that is looking out and seeing what enthusiasts, buyers, owners of vehicles are saying when they own said vehicles. I hope that you're paying attention to that, because it is such a valuable resource to hear what people who are buying vehicles. If you guys made the Excursion again, I would buy one. If you guys made a 7.3 Expedition, I would buy one. If you guys made a Mustang with 7.3, I'd probably consider buying one. To be perfectly honest with you, I've kind of grown out of the 5-liter. Yeah, it's quick. If you put drag radials on it and you go to a drag strip, you have a prep track, yeah, it's fast. But on the street, it's not that fast. It's not that much fun. If you spend a bunch of money and put a Whipple on, now you're breaking the law. It's just not that fun anymore. Just to have something that had a lot of torque, it was easy to drive, did 0 to 70 really fast, and it did so. You know, some of us take our Mustangs when we go do things like go to the movies, or we go fishing, or we go on a road trip. We don't need Mach 10. We want to have a fun-to-drive car that when you punch it, it feels like it's got some power underneath you. And maybe you're not going to sky's the limit speed like you would with like a supercharged Mustang or a GT500 or whatever. But honestly, when the 5.0 I grew out of it. I'll be honest with you guys, I grew out of it. And I haven't grown out of a pickup truck with 7.3 yet. And I guarantee you I wouldn't grow out of a Mustang with 7.3, especially if it had a manual transfer to it. And let's get away from that terrible get drag. Let's get to a Tremec so we have a proper feeling manual transmission. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have anything to input, or if you have some thoughts, or if anyone is into 3D rendering and you want to render some of these ideas that I've made, and email them to me, I will make a video and I will put your renderings in the video. So I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I do like to do, there's probably going to be a lot of new viewers that watch this. I do like to do the drive and talks because I'm not a particularly attractive person to look at, so I'm not going to force you guys to stare at me the whole time. So I figured the roadway, I like to drive the roadway, the vehicle, the speedometer, other cars, probably more interesting looking at me. So we'll save your supermodel looking at for other times and other situations, and we'll just we'll give you my voice. So hopefully you enjoy my voice. Someone commented they didn't like my voice. Oh well, too bad. Everybody have a great day. I care about all of my viewers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that we can all enjoy the 7.3 together. And Ford, let's put the 7.3 elsewhere because there's a reason why the aftermarket has jumped on this engine so hard. 6-bolt mains, strong rods, strong pistons, good block, good heads, good induction system. Your intake manifold's well designed for the start. This whole thing has got the right stuff. It's all here, and not that cam and block is so much better, and not that overhead cams are so much better. There are different ways of doing the same thing. It's just that you guys did a good job on this engine. You should definitely leverage what you've built. This is something extremely special, and I think in 20 years when we're looking back and we say, wow, we could buy a 7.3 liter gas V8 with extremely precise fuel injection that got excellent fuel economy. Can you guys see that? Getting excellent fuel economy. And by the way, I'm driving in wind right now. Can you guys see the limbs moving in that tree right there? It's not exactly a nice day. We're definitely fighting either a crosswind or going slightly into the wind, just a smidgen. So I think it's coming from about right there. So I think we're going into the wind just slightly. So it's not exactly a perfect day. This is a very special engine, everyone, and I love it. I'm a car guy. I'm an LS fan, actually. So you're hearing this from an LS fan. I'm a Ford guy, but LS was a very special engine. LS doesn't have enough displacement to compare with this. And the LS7 was such limited production. Yes, you can build you got to either find an LS7 block to get to those bigger bores, or you got to get an aftermarket block to get up to this kind of displacement. This is special. And for a vehicle that's just a car, this is a car enthusiast engine. And take note, Dodge, you guys need to have a 426 V8. I'm sure, I really think you guys got to be working on it. There's no way you're going to let Ford do this and build production 445 cubic inches, and you're not even going to give it a shot with a 426 or bigger. 440, bring it back, baby. Bring us the 440 with modern fuel injection, iron block, aluminum heads. Bring us the real deal and put it in a truck. And better yet, Ford, put this thing in other of your vehicles, because the Bronco is really cool. I think everybody wants to, I think everyone who isn't a diehard EcoBoost fan is the other way. They want a reliable American simple V8. That's what they want. So give them both ends of the spectrum, because I can totally, as somebody who likes my 3.5, I can totally see that perspective. Factory twin turbocharged, a lot of torque, a lot of power. It's a fun engine. But the thing is that it runs out of snot. It doesn't have as much top end as you really want it to have. It's got a lot of mid-range, and daily driving wise on the bottom end, the engine's got good performance. But I think that all of the vehicles I mentioned, and bringing out a new Panther would be so cool. I would definitely buy one. 100% Ford, make a new Panther, I'll buy one with 7.3. and bring back the Expedition, please. I know I'm repeating myself, but imagine if the ideas, let me know. If any of these ideas came to be, how excited would you be, and would you buy it? Let me know below what of the ideas that I presented you would buy, and maybe Ford will see it if we get enough people that really like it. So, I think that's a wrap. Everybody have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Like I said, I appreciate all of you. Take care. Bye.